Okay, now I got it ground out where my camera fits down in there. Fits in there fairly good. And I'm going to be putting a flash gasket in there eventually. But now I got to locate my holes for my camera. I have my shutter and my flash. There's several ways of doing this. One, you can use a template, or you can use a front cover from an old camera, or you can mark the holes, and there's other different ways of doing this. But I'm going to use a front of an S600. So that's my front cover for an S600. I'm going to lay it in there, get it straight. It's a little easier for me to do it this way. That way I can tell the gappage. So we're going to get that where I want it. And as I said, I don't want to go all the way to the top, but I like to leave maybe 1/4 inch, 3/8. I'm going to mark the center of the flash. And that's the center of my shutter. Now, what I'm going to do is, there's different ways of doing this too. If I had a camo case, I would use an 1.25" Forstner bit, and I drill down maybe halfway through the case on both of these. Then go in with a 1" bit, Forstner bit, and drill the rest of the way through. That way I can offset the glass into the case. But since I'm going to use a 3D camo, I'm just going to drill these 1" holes, and I'll glue the lens to the outside because I want to cover it with 3D camo. Okay, I drilled out my holes. I took these ribs off. I ground the ribs off. Cleaned this up because I'm going to glue my lenses to the outside here. So now I want to take my camera and put it back in. And I want to center it in the holes that I drilled. Now you want to make sure your camera's straight. I'm going to goop in. I cut a little piece of, but this is a little plastic. You can use metal, whatever. This is for like a drywall corner. So I cut a little piece off, and I'm going to put that down there. And I have goop there. So I'm just going to put a clamp on there to hold that until it dries. But after putting the clamp on, you might want to double check to make sure the camera didn't move. And everything's straight. Everything's straight. I got my shelf glued down. So we'll let that dry and go to the next step. Okay, my shelf is dried. What I want to do now is I need a flash gasket. So my camera goes up here. Without some kind of foam, it'll bleed. The flash will bleed into the shutter, and I'll get a white glow in the picture. So what we want to do is make a flash. Now I like this is a little bit of a dense foam. It's not rigid, but it's flexible. And what you can buy a flash gasket off of most of the board builders, and it's pre-cut with the holes. I'm just going to use some. It's an adhesive back foam, so I cut it to the size that I want, and I'm just gonna. All I did was cut it so it fits down there. So I can peel the back off, and I'm just gonna stick that right down in there. I'm going to make sure it's down because it'll stick in there real well. So it's down, and you can see. So what I do next is I have a little X-Acto knife with a curved blade on. You get them in most of the kits. So I'm just going to take that, I'm going to poke that in, and I'm just going to go right around that circle. This X-Acto knife works real nice for this. But like I said, you can probably pre-cut at most of the board makers. I do too much custom cutting, custom holes, different sizes. It makes it a lot easier when you cut your own. And it's close. It's not perfect, but it works pretty good. Now I could do a little bit better, but I was trying to follow so you guys can see it on the camera. Usually I'm a little bit better than that. Now I need to do my lenses. I'll take a piece of lens, put it there, fits over top. Now I'm pretty messy with this because I'm going to do a 3D camo on the outside. So I don't really care what it looks like because I'm going to cover everything on the outside of the cam. So I'm going to really go into the goop because I don't want it to leak at my lens. So I'm never afraid to use too much. And goop's not that expensive. And you can still clean it up out. If you get some on the lens and stuff, it'll clean up. Contrary, cleans up fairly easy. It comes off of glass. So I can take a little, you know, you're going to get some on the glass. Like I said, you can clean it up. Okay, now I'm going to go around this one more time. I like to get the outside of the lens. Then I have another step because one thing about goop is clear. And if goop touches each other, the flash can travel through the goop. So there's a big goopy mess. As you can see, it's pretty ugly looking. But that's okay. Just like I said, I'm going to take 3D camo and go over top of it. Now, what I need to do though, is my goop can't touch between the shutter and the... My goop can't touch. So I'm going to scrape the goop between the two lenses. Because the flash will bleed through the goop into my shutter lens. It'll give me a flash bleed again. And that's what I'm really trying to avoid, is flash bleed. So I'll cut a channel, and actually after I'm done with this and it dries, I'll take a black permanent marker and color this right here. I always found that flash can find a way to travel. It's going to travel. The last thing I want to do is camo this thing all up and have to take that lens back out because I'm touching. And that's what I did. I made a channel in between. And like I said, after that dries, I'll take a permanent marker between the two. It doesn't hurt. Rather make the precautions now than later. That's what we look like. It's ugly. But like I said, since I'm not doing I don't have a camo box, I don't really care. It all covers. But if I was doing a camo case, then I'm going to wipe this up. Because the glass is offset, you'll put it in and wipe it off real good.